everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing one of the cheapest exhaust upgrades you can do for your motorized bike. I'll also be showing you how to do a little modification and how to install it. You'll also get to see we have a disaster mid-video, so stay tuned if you want to see that. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now, so you'll have to just check it out. But meanwhile, this is the two-piece split pipe off Amazon. This is one of the cheapest exhausts that you can get for your motorized bike that will still give you an increased performance and power. It is expansion chamber style, though I have been told it's not a true expansion chamber because it's not quite big enough on the chamber, but it gives you a lot of the benefits for half the cost. It'll give you a little bit of increase at top end, though to be honest, I didn't get quite as much as I had hoped for. I was already going about 27. Now I can get about almost up to 30 with it. But what I did get a huge increase in was low end and mid-range power. The torque from takeoff has increased dramatically, and I can get up to top speed almost instantly now. It's ridiculous the amount of power I got from my low to mid-range just by swapping out the exhaust on this thing. For under $35, it's the cheapest one you can get for what you're doing. It is an easy upgrade you can do for your motorized bike. It is cheap, a cheap China part. So, like I said, I had to do a slight little bit of modifying. So you might want to check out the upcoming segments to see what I did to increase reliability and performance and get the most out of this pipe. Installing it was a little bit of a bear, but I'll go over everything you need to do in the video. All in all, I highly recommend it. If you're looking for a cheap upgrade, it is a good fit for a YD100 or a PK80 or any of those regular bike motors. I don't recommend it for an Avenger 85, Dominator 85, or any of those more high caliber motors because the increased porting for the exhaust in the motors is bigger than what the header for this pipe is really going to allow for, so you'll be choking them down. But all in all, for your standard motors, a good cheap upgrade. It is loud, of course, it's an expansion chamber. Loud pipes save lives. In the future I'll be putting a muffler on here and I'll show you how I do that later on. But for now, let's go ahead and go on to the modifying and installation of this bad boy right here. Alright, I just got my new split pipe for my motorized bike, and of course this is how it comes from Amazon, just wrapped up in cellophane. Go figure. Okay, I've got it on out of the cellophane. I just ripped it out with my bare hands. I didn't want to scratch it. Of course it came with a minor scratch and scuff anyway, and I'm not going to worry about it. I can repaint it. I've already been fiddling with it a little bit, and I've noticed a few things. One, it seems they welded the collar on just slightly crooked. You can see the edge coming out there. I don't think it'll be too big of an issue because this is able to spin on this. Another thing is it's not extremely tight here. I will say that my buddy had the same thing, and he said his was tight as can be, so that's just a discrepancy in there. I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to cut this. You can see where it rides on the inside of here, and to get the most out of its expansion chamber, you really don't want a big lip going past there. I'll probably cut about 1/4 inch off of this, leave a little bit of that so it's past all that. And I'm going to try to wallow the metal out just a little so it's tighter. It came with the springs, and the gasket looks pretty decent quality that they sent you. I think I see a little bit of metal inside of there. There you go. Maybe not. I can cut my own gaskets though, so I'm going to go ahead and run with it. I'll use it. If it blows, I'll just cut another one. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually grind this down, because you can see it's going to mess with the seal on there a little bit. So after I grind that, and I'll cut this and I'll try to waller this out, we're going to go ahead and install it and see how it does. So a pro tip that you can remember when grinding, a lot of people just stick with them edges. You can actually take the side of your grinder. That'll help keep everything lined up for you. Alright, so you can see I hit the metal base a little bit, but main thing, I took down that lip that was there. It only took me about a minute, and then I reamed it with my copper cutters here, just to make sure there's no turbulence through here. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit of this off right here, because you can see that's where it's actually rubbing the inside of this pipe. Alright, that's removed. I'll go ahead and ream this out a little bit too. Keep it upside down so you don't get no metal flakes in there if you're going to repeat this process. I just want to get all the power I can. There we go. Actually fits a little tighter toward the end from the reaming. And I suggest blowing through it one time. Oh, just like when I played the tuba back in band class. Alright. I'm going to take this high strength wrench right here. Just kind of see if I can't waller this out a little bit, flare it a little more. A little bit. Since I could only flare that so much, I'm going to try to compress the end of the other pipe. Unfortunately, this seems to be the common with these Chinese parts. Nothing ever seems to go perfectly smooth, but no worries. Just a minor squeeze. I don't want to too much. Turn it this way. Like I said, my buddy got the same pipe and he didn't have to do all this. So just bad luck on my end, and that's a bit tighter fit right there. Not a whole lot, but a bit. Let me do that one more time. That's more like it. Almost a little too tight, but I'll get it on there. That's what I want right there. Something I know is going to seal. Had to put a little oomph on it, but that's much better right there. A lot tighter. I trust that a lot more. Let's go ahead and put this thing on there and test it out. Alright, so I've already took my other exhaust off. And I've taken this bolt right here out because your expansion chamber should line up with that. We'll see how that works out. And I'm going to go ahead and not use their gasket and use one of mine, because theirs actually covered over the hole a little bit, and mine leaves everything perfectly open. You'll need a longer bolt for here. It is a 6mm. I happen to have one left over just like what these are, but longer. It is 1 inch. This is left over from when I put my spring tensioner on. I need longer bolts to put my chain cover back on. Let's go ahead and put the flange on first, and we'll go from there. Pro tip, you can stick your bolts through your flange and your gasket, and that'll help hold it all together while you get it lined up. Let me get over on this side. We'll go ahead and put this on. Well, I've never done it myself. I've seen quite a few people break the heads off these and strip them out. Now getting to this one can be a little tricky, but you can modify your Allen key. It's easy to do with a grinder and a pair of bolt cutters. I actually have a video where you see me grind one down, almost like a joke. It's one of my shorts, but you can check it out if you want to. Easy to do. It makes life a lot easier when working on these bikes. Like I said, go ahead and get them snug, but please don't bust your head off or strip them out and ruin the cylinder. You know, you can always snug them later. It's a good idea to check everything on these bikes. That should be good. It's nice and tight. Let's go ahead and put this piece on. Well, it almost lines up with that hole. I can make it. One thing you're going to want to do is check for clearance on your tire. I'm good. I'm just going to have to force this over. Alright, I'm going to take the flange back off, put it in the vise and bend it, because I do not want to break something. Alright, I've got the flange back on there. Let's go ahead and try this again. The good thing is it seems to have tightened that up even more. Alright, like they say, third time's a charm. I ended up putting this in the vise and bending it a little bit. There it is. Alright, so that was a little bit more difficult than I had first anticipated. So hopefully I get the extra power from this that I'm really wanting. Let's go ahead and put the springs on there, although it's so tight, I'm not sure if I'll even need them. And these will probably be a pain too. But let's go ahead and see. Oh wow, those are going to be a little difficult. At this point I'm a little gun shy. I don't want to knock my bike over again. Yeah, good thing I work out. Let's see if we can't get this other one on. Like I said, as stiff as that thing is, I don't think it even needed them, but I'm going to put them on for good measure. If you're going to do this, I suggest you get somebody to help you so that they can hold your bike. It helps a lot. Alright, I had to wedge the bike against the side-by-side to keep it from rolling backwards on me. Now it should go right on there. You would think. There it is. I'll tell you what, it's going to make getting to that clutch a pain in the butt. Alright, it's on there. It looks good.